I want to show this for a second. Donald Trump recently, well, back in 2016, I got to show this. So back in 2016, he addressed about visas. And he made this statement when he was his first term in presidency, addressing this to Megyn Kelly. So this is from March 3rd, 2016. It says Megyn Kelly asked about highly skilled immigration. The H1B program, that's the visa program, is neither high skilled nor immigration. These are temporary foreign workers imported from abroad for the explicit purpose for substituting for American workers at lower pay. I remain totally committed to eliminating rampant, widespread H1B abuse and ending outrageous practices such as those occurred at Disney in Florida when Americans were forced to train their foreign replacements. I will end the use of the H1B as a cheap labor program and institute an absolute requirement to hire American workers first for every visa and immigration program, no exceptions. So this is what he campaigned on in 2016. This is what started the MAGA movement. This is what started the fuel of the fire of the popularity of Donald Trump being a president. And many people support this. Many people today still support this. But does Donald Trump still support it? Well, it turns out not when you have Elon Musk on your side. Because Reuters points out Trump sides with Elon Musk on H1B visa debate, says he's always been in favor of the program. Look at that. 2016, he called it out saying it was an abuse of cheap labor. But now, because Elon Musk, a billionaire who uses that H1B program to undermine workers at Tesla factories, they just did recently. He laid off a bunch of people at the Tesla plants and brought in cheap labor. And you're about to see how Elon Musk is showing his true colors. He's not really the mega aficionado that people want him to believe. Now Trump's on side with this. Trump's on favor of cheap foreign labor. That's very, very much anti-MAGA than when he ran in 2016. So, here's the Reuters article. President-elect Donald Trump on Saturday sided with key supporter and billionaire tech CEO Elon Musk in a public dispute over the use for the H-1B visa, saying he fully backs the program for foreign tech workers opposed by some of his supporters. Some of his supporters. You mean all? You mean the ones that got laid off? They're being duped by this? The people that cheer MAGA, make America great again. I guess we got to do that by making Americans more poor and substituting that with foreign cheap labor to make billionaires more acceptable. Trump's remarks follows a series of social media posts from Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, who vowed late Friday to go to war to defend the visa program for foreign tech workers. Trump, who moved to limit the visa's use during his first presidency, told the New York Post on Saturday he was likewise in favor of the visa program. I have many H-1B visas on my properties. I've been a believer of H-1B program. I've used it many times. It's a great program. I love how he talks about, these are people, by the way. H-1B visas. These are not cars. It's not like you're showing off your collection of spoons. These are human beings. These are people. And he's talking about like it's an object. Musk, a naturalized U.S. citizen born in South Africa, has held an H-1B visa, and his electric car company, Tesla, obtained 724 of the visas this year. That's when they laid off people at Tesla. This is your guy responsible for government efficiency by laying off American workers and then kicking their asses to the curb and bringing in foreign cheap labor. This is apparently how you make America great again, by undermining the working class of America, according to Elon Musk. H1B visas are typically for 3-year periods, though holders can extend them or apply for green cards. The altercation was set off earlier this week by far-right activists who criticized Trump's selection of Srinath Krishnan, an Indian-American venture capitalist, to be an advisor on artificial intelligence, saying he would have influence on the Trump administration's immigration policies. Musk's tweet was directed at Trump supporters and immigration hardliners who have increasingly pushed for H-1B visa program to be scrapped amid a heated debate over immigration and the place of skilled immigrants and foreign workers brought into the country on work visas. On Friday, Steve Bannon, a longtime Trump confidant, critiqued big tech oligarchs for supporting the H-1B program and cast immigration as a threat to Western civilization. In response, Musk and many other tech billionaires drew a line between what they viewed as legal immigration and illegal immigration. Trump has promised, so I guess that means whatever works better for us. It's okay that we stretch the laws. Laws are meaningless if we can make a profit. Laws are okay. If we can get money off it, then we don't have to worry about the laws. But if we can't, then we start talking about immigration. Trump has promised to deport all immigrants who are in the U.S. illegally, deploy tariffs to help create more jobs for American citizens, and severely restrict immigration, which he did in his first presidency. He put on 30% tariffs for people that were trying to insource cheap labor. So it incentivized companies to hire more Americans and train them into these respective fields. They're not doing that now. And why is that the case? Because people like Elon Musk exploits this program. He uses it for his own riches. And then he goes to his buddy Trump and says, oh, what a great idea this is. I use it all the time. It's such a great thing. And other venture capitalists who don't give a damn about working class to begin with are also on board with this. So this is just insane. The visa issue highlights how tech billionaires like Musk, who has taken an important role in the presidential transition, advising on key personnel and policy areas, are now drawing scrutiny from his base. The U.S. tech industry relies on government's H-1B visa program to hire foreign skilled workers to help run its companies, a labor force that critics say undercuts wages for American citizens. Exactly what I said. Exactly what I've been saying. That the whole intent of all this is to bring in cheap labor to undermine American working class and wages. This is all for business. This is all for business for the billionaire class to screw over Americans. That doesn't sound MAGA to me. That doesn't sound like the MAGA movement, make America great again, bring back America jobs promise that you were fooled into by people like Donald Trump. That was supposed to be the populist message. That's what people got on board with MAGA. Now you're getting slapped in the face. Musk has spent more than $250 million helping Trump get elected in November. He was posted regularly this week about the lack of homegrown talent to fill all the needed positions with American tech companies. We're going to get to that later on. It's insanely interesting. So here is Vivek Ramaswamy, also one of the co-chairs of DOOJ, and also a big supporter of this cheap labor market, that we need to import these foreigners to take over American jobs. And he's about to do this long thread here, and we're gonna show a bit of it here. This long thread of why he supports, same with Elon Musk and now Trump, on why we need to undermine American working class to bring these foreigners, undocumented immigrants, to flourish the billionaire class, not the working class, the billionaire class. So he says the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficiency, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word. Culture. Culture. Tough questions demand tough answers. And if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. So Vivek Ramaswamy is about to make this into a cultural woke issue instead of what it actually is, which is undermine the working class of America to screw them over for cheap foreign labor, to undermine wages and undermine working class Americans, which is going to make America even worse. It's not going to make America great again. It's going to make American society worse, and it's going to make the billionaire class great. It's going to flourish them and not the Main Street Americans that are being undermined through all this. They're being laid off purposely to do this. So here's Vivek Ramaswamy. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for far too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college. It starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. A culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel and Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. So his excuse is old television references. That's why we don't have smart people, because TV shows exist in the 90s that people watched and mimic those characters. This is the stupid argument that Vivek Ramaswamy, who by the way is a billionaire and profited off his success off of falsifying people, thinking that he was the champion of Alzheimer's medication. He was part of the big pharma crowd. And now here he is saying that we have to bring in cheap foreign labor from other countries because our American culture that's done by corporations, done by capitalism, shoved down our throats, is making America not so smart. As opposed to billionaires that could actually put their money to use, invest into American workplaces, and train those people. But no, we're going to undermine Americans even further. Which they've done this purposely. They've done this purposely. If you go search right now, there's an article, a whole huge article done up by Eric Weinstein, who's a PhD in STEM research. And he talks about how colleges, universities, the school system, corporations, workplaces, and the government purposely have developed this system to undermine the working class Americans and have always desired cheap foreign labor. And that is why you don't have the success stories as other countries do. They purposely do this. They purposely undermine their own people so that eventually they're going to have to bring in temporary foreign workers because they don't want to spend the money to actually educate Americans. Why would they? Because they create a system that makes us dumber. With old TV references. What, you don't think they have reruns of Boy Meets World in India? So freaking crazy. There's more to this. Fact. He says, fact. Multiple sets of immigrant parents. Oh, where's the... It says multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limit how much their kids could watch these TV shows precisely because they promote mediocrity, and their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. Yeah, they've been doing that for years. I know people now that they raise their kids with limited TV screen time. They've been doing that for eons. They've been doing that for eons, regardless if they're STEM graduates or not. Why are we not? Again, you have the money, you have the means. Elon Musk has the means. If you're literally calling America so dumb and stupid, then why are you not putting the money to use to make America's working class people be able to be trained in these fields? Because they're doing this not only with tech industry, but they're doing this with truck drivers. They're doing this with fast food restaurants. Are you saying America's too dumb to flip a burger? They're too lazy to flip a burger? That's why you got to bring in cheap labor? Because the STEM graduate knows better. The STEM graduate is able to wrap up your Big Mac better than any American citizen. That is all bull crap. It is all complete crap. And Vivek Ramaswamy knows this. But he's going to whine about this, make it a cultural woke issue to undermine the real message behind all this is that we made America so dumb. The corporate state made America so dumb purposely to undermine its workers. That's what this is about. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out the mall. Newsflash, Vivek, malls are dying out. I don't know what time machine you just came from to write this article, but have you looked at a mall recently? I don't think anyone's chilling at the mall these days. Not a lot of people ever go and step foot in the mall. Maybe the people that live in tents at the mall because they're homeless and there's a abandoned building for shelter. But nobody's hanging out the mall. Again, because the billionaire class and corporations exploit us to train us into shopping online, shopping through Amazon, doing everything and eliminating brick and mortar stores to undermine the retail workers, to undermine the retail establishment, to undermine small businesses. Most normal American parents look skeptically at these kinds of parents. More normal American kids view such of those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grew up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. This makes no sense. This absolutely makes no sense. Again, have you talked to parents today? Have you talked to I know parents here in Canada that, you know, want their kids to succeed academically. They're pushing for again, it's all stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It's legal mumbo jumbo to cover the fact that you're purposely undermining Americans and have done it for years. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s or even now who raised their kids accordingly to one model versus the other, but be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in a hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if we pretend it like it does, we'll have our asses handed to us by China. China! You know, the country that they say, communism is doomed to fail and how awful it is and we have to go to war with them. How is China going to hand us our asses? First you say they're weak. First you say that they're weak. Now they're troublesome because you sent all the jobs over there. And all China had to do was just innovate our products. That's literally what it is. They're just innovating our creations that you sent over there purposely, the billionaire class. And now you're saying in the same article that's saying America's so dumb and stupid they can't figure out how to work, China's going to hand us our ass? This is the most brainless, ridiculous argument I have ever heard from Vivek Ramaswamy. And I know he's a smarty pants. He is a smart fella. But even for him, this is the stupidest argument to be made of this. This can be our Sputnik moment, he says. We've awakened from slumber and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakes up. Our culture. Not the billionaire exploitation system that is creating this mess. No, it's the culture. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. Again, you're telling me that European nations and Nordic countries, Denmark, they don't show reruns of James Bond movies or Marvel movies? International films, the international Hollywood sphere. They don't know. None of those countries show those movies. That's why they're smarter. Or maybe because those countries actually invest in education. Train people for the jobs. Train more people so they become IT professionals to compete globally. But this is Vivek Ramaswamy throwing the entirety of America under the bus. And now, as I'm reading this, it reminds me of what Ann Coulter said about Vivek Ramaswamy when he was running for president. Ann Coulter said she was never gonna vote for him because he was Indian. He was first generation American citizen. His parents were foreigners. And not to be that kind of person, but after reading this article, after throwing the entire nation under the bus, the entire nation that your parents came over for better prosperity, now you're throwing it under the bus because you're profiting off this disparity. You're profiting off of making people purposely lazy and stupid and not promoting achievement or excellency. That's the corporate estate doing this purposely. It's all mind control. They do it purposely. The corporate estate doesn't profit off of creativity. It just wants conformity. That's what, sadly, the education system is. It's all conforming people into the workplace setting. It's not aspiring people to be more creative or more forward-thinking or more critical. I know that. I went to public school in Canada. It was nothing but conformity. I didn't really understand politics until I got out of the public school system. So that's the work that we have cut for us. Rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices to existence, I'm confident we can do it. And by we can do it, it means that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk and now Trump, who completely did a complete 180 on his original MAGA promises to screw over American workers. So here's Revolutionary Blackout Network. I forget exactly who this guy is, but he's part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network. Doing a video here about Vivek Ramaswamy after doing that ridiculous tweet storm there about how America's so dumb and useless. Here's what's actually really happening and why he's doing this phony culture war, psyching people out while in getting the kickbacks of foreign cheap labor. Listen to this.
There is a full-blown MAGA civil war because Vivek Ramaswamy said Americans and their culture are so dumb that we must import highly skilled workers. There is an extremely contentious debate among MAGA on whether they should support H1B visas, which allowed high-skilled workers in certain occupations to temporarily work in the United States. The MAGA tech bros, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, two immigrants by the way, are obviously for this, and this has made the MAGA base absolutely furious. And this disagreement has been hilarious to witness, to say the least. The hardcore MAGA base is against all immigration and argue that if we need highly skilled labor, that we need to train Americans to do it. Meanwhile, the tech bros like Vivek Ramaswamy is arguing that Americans are just simply too fucking dumb to be trained to compete on the highest levels of engineering. This statement absolutely infuriated MAGA, and Vivek Ramaswamy ended his political career just like that. MAGA can seethe all they want, but Vivek Ramaswamy has a point. American culture is garbage, which is exactly why Americans are falling behind China. It's wild how the hardcore MAGA types are saying that we must focus on training Americans instead of hiring overseas highly skilled labor. Meanwhile, these are the same people who support an entire generation going into debt for simply pursuing high-level degrees. When you look at China and all the Asian countries that are whooping our ass when it comes to STEM degrees, they offer free post-high school education. It's a very hard pill to swallow, but Americans' embrace of capitalism and for-profit education is exactly why American children fell behind. So unless we have a serious conversation about the complete failure of our system, Americans will continue to be left behind, and they will have no one to blame but themselves.
So that's a very motivating video there, and it's funny he brings up the education point of it, because if you think back, and I remember hearing this when Michael Moore did the documentary Where to Invade Next, and he goes to European nations, he goes over to Finland, he goes to Denmark, he talks about, school lunches and vacation and healthcare and the education system. And if you look at a place like Finland, for example, Finland at one point had one of the worst educations on earth. At one point, it was one of the worst ranked low on the world scale of education. What happened? Did Finland just keep going on and just pretend that it didn't exist, that problem didn't exist, that we just don't care anymore? Finland actually looked into it and said, hey, why don't we actually invest and look into our education policies and make it better so that people can get a proper education and we become more successful and we become more competitive on a global scale. And guess what? That same country that once had one of the lowest ranked education systems on earth is now one of the top leaders in education. Why? Because they actually took their money and invested into their people to become more smarter, powerful individuals that can compete on a global scale. What are we doing here in the West? The exact opposite. We're not investing in anything within our people, within our culture, within our society. We don't give a damn about our own people. We are peasants to people like Vivek Ramaswamy, to Elon Musk, to Donald Trump, to Joe Biden, to Jeff Bezos, to Kamala Harris, to Hillary Clinton. It doesn't even matter at this point who the face of the figure is. None of these people give a damn about you. And that's the big message behind all this, behind Vivek's random tweet storm that he had there, to Elon Musk, saying that, we have to do this to get smart engineers into his corporations, to Donald Trump being on board. They look at you like peasants. You are dirt to these people. And the best way to mastermind and get success is to get more peasants from other territories, because they don't recognize sovereignty either. They don't recognize countries either. and take these people to be our replacements. So at some point, all of it will be replaced by AI. At some point. We're not there yet, but we have the implications to do so. And that's where shit's really going to hit the fan, and people are really going to have to wake up to this. They're awake now to understand this, but they're going to really have to wake up to the point that even immigration is going to be too dumb to figure out the jobs of the future, that we can't train people anymore, that human beings are just dumb at this point. It really sounds like a WEF point, right? It sounds like something Klaus Schwab would say. That we're just, mouth eaters. We're just bottomless pits. We're just useless at this point. So why even have us? Why even have us in workforces? Why have us in society? That's what globalist evil masterminds think. This is their entire philosophy. And now it has devoured people like Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, and MAGA is not taking this line down, which is exciting for me. It's exciting to know that these political cults that people get themselves into, and I'm even saying this on the liberal side of things, when you realize that Joe Biden does not give a damn, Joe Biden is not on the side of healthcare or education or any of the policies that he's implemented, same with Kamala Harris, the faster people realize that, the more of an opportunity there will be for us to all unite together, whether you're MAGA or Democrat or Republican or whatever you are. We can all unite together and combat this problem together with a fighting chance. Because when we're united, it's better to go the problems head on than it is for one individual. And that's what we need more and more right now. We need to gather ourselves along class lines to go after these people that have exploited us for far too long. And now we're really seeing the true colors being played out.